there. Good morning. It is Wednesday, September 13th. September 13th, I think, 2023, here in Sarasota, Florida. Just a very quick capture of the energy at this moment. Yesterday, after it being live on Amazon for 5 weeks, I finally announced my book, the launching of my first book, 7 Soul Igniting Suggestions for Feeling Greater Inspiration. I announced that to my Facebook group yesterday after 5 weeks of just kind of adjusting to the fact that something from such deep places within me was now like kind of another layer of my soul, of my essence was revealed and out there. And it's a very vulnerable place. Anytime you put anything of any sort of artistic creation out there, it has the high likelihood, until you get used to it, of causing you to feel quite vulnerable. This book in particular is something it's got so many layers to it, so many seeds within it, and very few will likely touch or resonate with or feel or be affected by all the layers and all the pieces. However, there are, I believe, at least a small number of individuals somewhere on this planet for whom that's really directed and intended at that highest level. But that means that a lot of other people that aren't, for various reasons, just a vibrational match to it, so they're not gonna, they're not going to resonate with all of it, with large parts of it. That means that I'm exposing myself to a lot of people who won't really feel it, won't get it, won't like it. And as a history of an over-pleasing person that has taken the very long road to learning to find the self-validation within, and to learn to accept that everybody is responsible for their own feelings, and I don't need to take on the responsibility, the impossible responsibility of making everybody happy and making them all feel good. That's not my job. That's not my role, but it was a role that I sort of unknowingly accepted for 4+ decades of my life. And breaking that habit has not necessarily been easy. Breaking any habit after decades is not easy. All to say, today I'm in sort of processing mode of humbled by the handful of people that bought books yesterday, humbled by the fact that they're currently on their way through the U.S. Postal Service to California, New York, Michigan, Virginia, Pennsylvania, and other parts of Florida. And that feels pretty awesome, that this little book and all the layers of all the energy contained within it, least of which the very deep, very real intentions at the highest level, to know that that's making its way across the country, literally coast to coast, after just hours of announcing it. And it's not like I sold a ton. I think I sold 11 that I know of. I personally shipped out 8 yesterday. One other woman said that she was going to buy 2, but hasn't given me her address yet. And one person bought it on Amazon and sent me their order confirmation. So that I know of, I sold 11 copies, to my Facebook network on day 1. But in those relatively few copies, they're heading from California to New York, from Michigan to Florida. That is pretty awesome. And I'm very grateful and appreciative of the people that already bought, for whatever reason they may have bought it. So I'm also on my way right now to my first stops at 2 different metaphysical shops to inquire about them selling my book on my behalf. And that's a little nerve-wracking, but exciting. I'm going to go to the one that I think I have a better chance at first, which is in Bradenton, and then work my way back south and check out the one that's literally a mile from my house. And we shall see what that brings. And I also wanted to note that something that was really powerful for me and that I've been playing with intuitively for years and years is weaving together the energy of the people that respond in some way with something that I put out there. I posted something on Facebook making this announcement. I had a couple of pictures of the book and one picture of the cover, one picture of the stacks of books, and then I wrote something as I do and put it to my Facebook network. For me, I don't post all that much. And for me, I don't get a lot of reactions. And it's never been about the number of reactions. But I have, since day one with Facebook, used the energy, used it as a way of reading the energy. So that when people put a thumbs up or a heart or whatever and take that time, knowing there's plenty of people who may feel emotion, who don't use the emojis, it's always been an energetic read for me, a guide for me. And if I get 20 reactions in any one post, it's a lot. So yesterday, something like, I think 80 something, I might be knocking on 90 people responded in some way. And it's amazing when I look at where I know them from in my life, in my past. And in many cases, the very different crowds from which I know all these people who are unified in some way on resonating with something that I'm putting out there. There's something very, very, very powerful about that from an energetic standpoint. I have felt this for years. I want to say over 10 years. I really think it's since I've been on Facebook, 2009. If not, definitely by 2010, I had these thoughts of what was possible with that energy and that acknowledgement and that understanding that something coming through the character of Alyson is resonating with all these people from massively different networks, and how that might be able to be utilized in conscious creation, utilized in conscious creation. But to begin with, because most people don't have the super high level, real deep understanding of to what degree we are creating our reality, I can step to that through storytelling. And more specifically, now I can step through it through storytelling in a much more evolved way than I was able to do so when I first started feeling these intuitions, when I first started my YouTube channel, when I first started to attempt to follow this very, very real, palpable calling of it's my soul, the essence of me cannot turn that off. I would argue we all have that going on within us, but we've been conditioned in this mainstream world for that connection to not really be fully connected in the vast majority of humans. We're giving that power away, we're numbing it, we're distracting ourselves from it. We don't even, in most cases, believe it's real, that exists. But more and more of that frequency is rising within people, within communities. And as that rises, I believe humbly that we need voices, but more so voices taking action to provide visual evidence of what this higher and deeper understanding of reality is, to show its truth, if you will. Because although I believe that believing is seeing, we still live in a world where seeing is believing. And in order to help bridge humanity to those where we sort of are collectively and the greater truth, we need people that have this greater understanding, not better, just a different, vaster understanding. We got plenty of people giving voice to it. And quite honestly, you can give voice to something and be completely full of shit. So, personally, humbly, I'm about living the words. Yes, I'm here to speak and share ideas and experiences, opinions, critiques, all those things. But I'm here to live it first and foremost. And everything I'm living is spiritual first, physical second. Spiritual is the root, spiritual is the foundation. And I know I'm a huge step closer to allowing myself to trust this call as it pertains to specifically weaving together through my own story and stories within the story that example of all these different people from my network, all these different huge networks in and of themselves, at least one person from multiple pieces and times in my life are connecting to the, let's just say, the announcement of the book. How can we play with that? And further, how can we make up a story? And further, how can we live that story? That is the highest level of what I'm doing. I'm trying, working to live and create the dream version for humanity, the dream version of reality, which, rest assured, is not all unicorns and rainbows, nor would we want it to be. But it is very different than what we've been told collectively. And I have to be fearless enough to lean on the physical things I've got beginning to come through, lean on my art, lean on my book, lean on what my reality is, because I've got a ton of evidence now in place to show what I've been talking about since I began everything on November 30th, 2012. And it's just time to take it all to the next step, to the next level, and to do so fearlessly and unapologetically, and always with the stated intention of unification, not further, not further divisiveness, not further segregation, not furthering us's versus them's in all these infinite ways, but truly the intention of unifying and finding the win-wins and understanding the power that we have, that we've given away to institutions, corporations, and systems. And I can't be afraid to start giving this voice.